Hello and welcome to another video. In this video I want to talk about James Gunn and the DC Cinematic Universe. DC has had its fair share of cinematic ups and downs over the years. While there have been some standout successes like Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman, James Wan's Aquaman and Snyder's Man of Steel, there have also been disappointments and missed opportunities. While regarding the DC Cinematic Universe, the Snyder films have their fan base. Overall, the movies paled in comparison to what the MCU has spawned between 2008's Iron Man and 2019's Avengers Endgame. Enter James Gunn. He's going to save the DC Cinematic Universe, right? Well, while the Snyderverse may not have been on par with the MCU, the actors who portrayed the Justice League were quite the fan favorites, and in particular Henry Cavill as Superman. It came as a bolt from the blue that Gunn has pushed aside all the actors except for the overall least favorite one. His explanation: he wants to start anew, completely from scratch. He wants to create a new DC Cinematic Universe. It's a bold move because you go out with the old, familiar, and still much liked by the fans to enter the completely new, completely unfamiliar with a new beginning. Due to, like I just mentioned, the old and familiar being still much liked by the fans, Gunn and his decision couldn't count on a positive reception, anything but. I didn't immediately agree with his decision either, but I come to understand it. The DC Cinematic Universe was actually the Snyderverse, and Gunn is no Snyder. In some way, it's a smart move to keep your hands off what someone else created, especially if it's still beloved by a fanbase. One might, after all, smudge it to the discontent of said fanbase and receive criticism for it. Also, when starting something entirely new, it's also kind of logic that you disconnect from everything that came before it. However, that's where the problem comes in. Remember me saying that Gunn pushed aside all the actors except for the overall least favorite one? Well, there's the problem. Everyone but one got pushed aside, the actor who portrayed the Flash. And to say that he's the least favorite is like the understatement of the century. Enter the Flash movie, and nope, I'm really not going to elaborate on this. On top of the Flash, soon, as from the date this vid was posted, Aquaman 2 will be released at year's end. Wait, what? Isn't the actor that portrayed Aquaman among the actors that got pushed aside? Well, yes, I guess, but then again, his sequel is nonetheless going to be released. Are you starting to see the pattern? What pattern, you may ask? Well, if you just asked that question, you're not the only one, and that's precisely the problem that now arises. When does the Snyderverse end, and where will the Gunnverse start? To start anew, completely from scratch, a transition isn't the best way to go, especially not a transition that creates the impression that some want to keep and implement things from the Snyderverse into the Gunnverse. Do some want to keep and implement things from the past DC Cinematic Universe into the new one? And if so, why? It makes no sense, especially if you want to create a whole new DC Cinematic Universe from scratch. Is this Gunn's work or from people behind the scenes? And if this is Gunn's work, why? Is he losing confidence in his own fresh take on his own vision for the DC Cinematic Universe? What most likely is the case is that Warner wants to salvage what can be salvaged and recoup financial loss as well as possible. Given the budget of the movies, the very low interest in these, and due to even Marvel to slack waning interest in superheroes overall, to my opinion, makes the release of these movies a very bad decision. A decision that financially might turn out to be a bigger loss than they would have scrapped the movies entirely and hold a much needed hiatus. On top of that, the highly likely financial loss, it also creates much confusion to which are now DC and Gunn's ultimate plans. What is the final plan now? A new start from scratch? Okay, but then close the old chapter and close it once and for all. Short pain. Right now, there's still two groups. One that clings on to the Snyderverse still, and one that's somewhat curious for the Gunverse. By lingering with indecision and sending mixed signals, you will irritate everyone, both groups, eventually to end up with no one left to be interested in any kind of DC cinematic universe at all, and that's something you don't want. So man up, Mr. Gunn. Stop lingering with indecision and sending mixed signals. Make up your mind and act upon it before it's too late, and there'll be no one left to care about the DC cinematic universe anymore. Anyway, this is my take on James Gunn and the DC cinematic universe. Do you have a take or don't you care? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, take care, and until next time.